almost like an evolutionary thing of the idea of stress, anxiety, fear, panic. Those are actually things that can save your life in different contexts. And too much of any of those is not going to be good, but lack of any of those can also be detrimental. I think that for me, I think there was a period of my life, probably in my late 20s, early 30s, where I thought clearing your inbox, having nothing to do, ticking off all the boxes, clean house, good exercise, all these things, like I would just wake up one day and it would all seem figured out and I'll just be happy. And I think I've realized over my life, I think I knew this a long time ago, but I think I'm the type of person that if I were to go on vacation and be on a beach and my phone was on airplane mode and there's no Wi-Fi, I think I'd probably have like a nervous breakdown after one day. That I think that unplugging works probably really well for some people. But I think for me, I've sort of grown and to understand myself and who I am and what makes me tick. And I think that the more you know that about yourself, the more you can actually know how to recharge and regenerate and start to feel better. So I think that my version of happiness, same as my version of sadness, mean very different things to you or to anybody else listening. And I think, again, little by little, to striving to do the impossible, which is to write a great song, to be a great dad, to be all these things that, just require so much infinite patience. And I think that whenever I start a new album, whenever I work on a new song, it's like the worst thing you can do is be like, today you got to do something big. That's just, you're going to set yourself up for failure, I think. And I firmly believe that. I think that when you sit at the piano, it's like, digging holes in your backyard. You're like, I might find gold, but if I don't, you better have fun. Make the most fun you can digging those holes, because you might dig 13 holes and literally not find anything, but that can't be the only object is some sort of what represents success to you. And I think, when you get into that flow state creatively, and, I've heard athletes talk about this too, specifically like golfers when they're putting on the green, or NBA people shooting free throws, there's that thing called flow state. And I promise you, I've written my best song ideas when I wasn't aware of what was going on. Like quite literally standing up at a piano in a green room, tired, got it in a rush, have like a minute and a half of time to kill, standing up and recording something that later becomes a song I love that goes for the Lumineers, or something I put on my solo album. It's never like I went to the gym, I just had my cup of coffee, I cleared my inbox, nothing to write a song, it's going to change the world. It creeps up when you least expect it. And I feel like same with those moments. As a parent, they seem like the moment I was explaining to you before, I was actually kind of frustrated too, because I was actually taking a walk, trying to make our daughter sleep. She just didn't want to sleep. She didn't want to take her afternoon nap. And I was like, wow, I'm coming back to the house, a failure. She's awake still. This is, mission failed. And then experience this beautiful moment. And I think in our lives, we can all get wrapped up in that. I call it sort of the New Year's Eve complex, where you think, it's New Year's Eve. It's got to be this crazy night, perfect champagne and the feast and the buffet and the kiss when the ball drops and all that stuff. And I think I've never had a good New Year's Eve my whole life. It's like some random Monday where, I don't know, something happens unbeknownst to you, where you go walking in the woods with one of your friends and have the most amazing conversation. You didn't even realize anything spectacular was going to happen in that moment. So I feel like life is chock full of those moments. It's just whether you are allowing yourself to sort of, receive them and pick them up with your transmitters.